like he heard us talking before the show.
Yeah. In the days of old, 5 elements were known: MCing, DJing, graffiti had grown, B-boy and knowledge, the pillars of the game, but a 6th emerged, adding to the flame. Comics and hip-hop, a fusion so tight, visual storytelling, lyrics that ignite, from the pages to the beats, a seamless blend. The 6th element, where 2 worlds transcend.
Welcome to the 6th Element Show, where comics and hip-hop flow. Reno and Stu guiding the way, bringing you the culture every day. Welcome to the 6th Element Show, where comics and hip-hop flow. Reno and Stu.
Welcome to the 6th Element Collectibles Show. Stu Dog in the building with me today. What's up, Stu?
Yeah. What up?
Word. Peace to Slade in the building. It's like we was just talking about this backstage, man. It had a Gen Z alpha mixed martial arts style to it. It definitely had a flavor of anime, which is definitely a big with Gen Z right now, and it just really hits. And I mean, for what it was, man, I can't wait to get into it. Now, all we need is It's Been Escape from New York remake. Like Snake
Escape
Plissken.
from New York. That is a movie I've never watched.
Snake Plissken.
But everybody talk about it. Yeah, Snake Plissken.
never
Everybody
seen
talk about it. Never watched it, bro. There's been mad references to it. The main character in Metal Gear Solid is Snake Plissken.
Sort of, yeah.
Never watched it. Yeah, that's his name, Snake Plissken. Snake.
It's
I
Snake.
never watched it.
Right. I don't think the Plissken is there for Metal Gear, but it's Snake.
And Metal Gear Solid. It's there. They call him Snake Plissken. I think in 2, 3, 2 and 3, 2, 3 and Solid they call him Plissken. But after that, it's just Snake.
Okay.
But I never watched it. And people talk about Escape from New York. Never watched that joint. Never. Everybody talking about it. Oh, it's a great movie. You never seen it? Never watched it. Never watched Escape from New York. But I did see Raw Deal with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I did see that.
His name isn't Snake Plissken in the game. It's just Snake.
What is it?
Yeah.
And which one?
In Snake in Metal Gear, it says Solid Snake's real name is David. No, the protagonist of the Metal Gear Solid series, Solid Snake, is not named Snake Plissken. The character of Snake Plissken, played by Kurt Russell, is from the movie Escape from New York. However, there are clear nods and references to Snake Plissken in the Metal Gear series, most notably through Solid Snake's alias, Iroquois Plissken. An alias is a combination of Iroquois, which translates to snake in Huron, and Plissken, a reference to Snake Plissken himself. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of a roundabout way. Yeah, I guess it, in a way, the definite nod, though. Yeah, so, hey, man, there you go. Snake and Iroquois Plissken. I call him Snake fucking Plissken. Fuck it. He's Snake Plissken. Give me all these.
Snake
Plissken. Snake Plissken.
Snake Plissken.
Snake Plissken it is. But yeah, man, we got a great show tonight because we got the scoop. We got the inside scoop. We got the goods on Karate Kid, Legends, and there's a lot of mixed emotions, mixed feelings about it. If you some people, on one hand, people are praising it, on the other hand, people are saying, "Oh, it's a cash grab. It's underwhelming and formulaic," and which is all nonsense. I mean, it's a very unique take on the beloved franchise, but they turn it on its head. It's a mixed version of Jackie Chan's Mr. Han and Mr. Miyagi, who isn't there, but Daniel-san is sort of representing him there, and you have a lot of interesting dynamics that we've never seen. The main character Lee is an Asian actor. Finally, the Karate Kid's actually Asian. There you go. It seemed like a no-brainer, but I guess it took Hollywood a while to catch up. But so that works for it. And then the interesting thing there is he's the student, the main character, the Daniel-san character or Jaden character. But there's a whole sequence where he gets in trouble in an alley, and you think this other guy's going to come help him, but in fact, the other guy gets beat, and he has to help the other guy. And so he helps the other guy because the other guy can't hold his own, and so he helps this guy, beats up the 3 guys, and then he trains this grown man. So you have Lee, the young Danielson character, playing the Miyagi role in a way, training, or the Han role, training this guy, for in this beginning part, and then later, of course, you get back to him being trained by Mr. Han, and then Danielson joining in for a co-training, which brings us back to the fact that modern martial arts today is very different than the 80s, right? In the 80s, it was all about karate, judo, even little, kung fu was a fantasy. No one really learned kung fu in the 80s. Like, there weren't kung fu schools everywhere. There were karate schools on every corner, but a kung fu school was very rare. I know, because I searched high and low. I wanted to do kung fu so bad. I was in taekwondo when I was 5. By the time I was 9, I got what they call the junior black belt, because I had gone through all the levels in 4 years. And from there, I felt like this wasn't really challenging me enough as a little 9-year-old kid. I wanted more, and I went searched for something better, and I found a karate school, Shirin-Ryu Karate School. We walked in to look at it, and we had been to a few. And we go in, and the teacher's yelling at some kid, some overweight kid who was in the middle, and the kid just couldn't do the push-ups. He was real kind of obese. And this guy, the sensei, walked over and picked him up by the back of his belt and started pumping him. He's like, fat, get your fat, blah, 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 blah. Like, he was just going in. He's like, there was no fucking mercy here. This guy was real. He was legit. And I turned to my mom and I said, this is where I go. This is what I want. I want somebody that's really going to challenge, really going to teach, and show me the real shit. And then about 14, 15, about 12, they were doing jujitsu on the weekends at that school. So I started taking the jujitsu class too. So at this point, I've done taekwondo, karate, and jujitsu. But still, man, my idol has always been.
This is what it is, okay?
Bruce the Man Lee. And obviously he's it's kung fu, it's gung fu, it's Wing Chun, it's Jeet Kune Do, it's all the Chinese martial arts, whereas what I've been learning is first Korean, which is taekwondo, and then Japanese, which is karate and jiu-jitsu. But there was no Chinese kung fu schools anywhere, so I finally did find one. It was by accident. I was walking down this place in Main Street, and like I said, there was not kung fu schools anywhere. And I saw this, I was like a bookstore, like a new age bookstore with candles and incense and, that kind of shit, and meditation books and all that. So I'm in there looking around, checking some shit out, probably going to buy some Nag Champa incense or whatever. And I see this guy come out of the back room, Chinese man, wearing a kung fu suit, gi, you know what I mean? Like old school, kung fu, looking like Bruce Lee. Came out and grabbed something from behind the counter and went back. And I was like, well, I said, what, who's that? What's going on back there? And they're like, oh, they have a kung fu school class that he does in the back. And I'm like, really? Eyes went bang. So yeah, I fucking met Johnny Kwang Ming Lee, and he was the guy that was the teacher there. And he, I started going there for a while. Was gonna go to China with the school. We were gonna do a small group thing to China. Well, I mean, they went. I didn't end up going, because at that time it was like, this is where I'm about 15, 16, and this is where I start kind of getting into the street more heavy, and things like karate and all that shit. School, whatnot, took a back seat to the street, and that's just the age when I basically jumped off the porch and stopped fucking around with karate and all that for the most part. Always, will be a martial artist my whole life, but my man said, hell, I thought it was good. Those damn Millennium and Gen Z are always complaining, just can't be satisfied with something. No, I mean, listen, a lot of people like it. But people had some mixed emotions. But first, let's talk about what the guy that is the main actor or the main star of the show. His name is Ben Wang, and he says that the stunt work in the franchises, in this film surpasses anything that's come before it. And he's absolutely correct. It absolutely does. The choreography is leaps and bounds beyond anything you've ever seen in any Karate Kid movie, or especially uh Cobra Kai show, whatever. There's never been anything like this. This is actual, um, you know, Hong Kong, like Hollywood, their version of Hong Kong, Chinese cinema, and they know how to shoot action, right? It's a very, the movie action sequences are very different from Western based action. And what he said was, quote, he said, "So I knew that the action would be unlike that of any other Karate Kid film, and unlike most other action films in the West, because it's a Chinese stunt team. These guys know how to shoot action in a way that Hong Kong Chinese cinematic way. I grew up watching those movies, so I wanted to do that stuff. I wanted to wrap a wire around my waist and get yanked through a wall, and I did, and it was awesome." And he went on to, suggest that while he was excited to participate in the movie's action sequences, the prospect of fighting Jackie Chan after only a month and a half of training was particularly daunting. He kind of joked that he damn near shit himself. What he said was, "Yeah, man, I was shitting my pants, but how could you not? On a month and a half of training, I go to fight Jackie Chan. You're gonna shit your pants, but that's okay." And Jackie Chan is not like, he's not real soft like we see in the movie. Like his Han characters, like the opponent's not going to go easy on him. Why should I? Like, how's he going to learn that? How's he going to learn that way? And that's what I felt. That's what I felt as a kid, like going to schools where they didn't really push you, and they didn't really, if they're not gonna put effort in, and really push you to the fullest, and all that, then what's the fucking point? Because you won't get anything, you won't gain anything, you won't, an ounce of muscle will not appear on your body. You have to push to the fullest. And Jackie Chan is definitely one of the best in the business. And what you see in this movie is a very Jackie Chan-esque style. So the main character, played by Ben Wong, Xiao Li, he when he moves, like, you can see the way he moves, the different stunts, the different moves and tricks and gags that they do. If you're a Jackie Chan fan, it's straight out of, pick a movie. It's definitely a Jackie style, and you can definitely see. And shout out to Vel in the house. What up? Peace. Yeah, it's I know you've only seen, parts of it, or did you see the whole thing?
I got through about a good half of it, man. Maybe a little more. my my device took a dump on me, so couldn't get through the whole thing. Till I got a software issue with it, so
Got
till I
you.
fix that. But
Got you. Well,
I will be going to see it in the movies. Well, even if I did watch it on Blu, I'm still gonna go see it in the movies, man, because
you got to. It's worth it. It's really good. It's really good.
I think it is.
Yeah. Spoiler alerts. I will be busting some spoilers out though. The latest entry here definitely is a different position from the 2010 reboot, right? You had Jackie Chan's Mr. Han was first introduced as sort of the modern counterpart of Pat Morita's Mr. Miyagi, and it has been 16 years, or it had been 16 years since audiences really saw the franchise's previous movie, which was Hilary Swank's next Karate Kid, which was Karate Kid 4, which didn't have Ralph Macchio, and I don't know why they did it. I guess they were trying to milk it, milk that franchise. But with Netflix's Cobra Kai just having recently revived the the nostalgia and the love and the just the heat for Karate Kid period, that's why we're seeing this movie right now. I know a lot of people are like, why a Karate Kid movie now? It's obvious. Cobra Kai has obviously been a resurgence and a very, very, very popular, very, very successful show. And then of course, right, we just saw the Jaden Smith, Will Smith, not epically long ago, at least not in the 80s, right? So it brings all those three franchises together in a very mixed martial art way. The whole point, right? So at the point I was getting at earlier, before I get into like spoilers and shit, with the difference in martial arts then and now and the popularity and things, like martial arts in the 80s was very, karate, right? And now with the, popularity of anime now and just kung fu and just, the internet and just, cultural mixing and everyone sort of getting to know everybody, and kung fu is just a much more, accessible thing. But karate now, or should I say martial arts now, is all about MMA, right? It's all about mixed martial arts. So
In America, I said it.
yeah, and so why right? And so why would why would the next Karate Kid? It wouldn't make sense, right? If they tried to portray that there was all these karate tournaments or this karate, there isn't right now. It's all about MMA. If you're young, you're getting into martial arts, you're getting into MMA. MMA schools are everywhere.
Yeah, they are.
There's still
And
holdout
classes.
karate, but
Yeah,
karate schools
classes.
anymore are like just like for like families and like real
You gotta
real
go overseas. Gotta go
marigan.
overseas to get it. Yeah, you're gonna have to leave the U.S. to get it. You might be able to find something here, but most of you gonna have to leave the U.S. to get it. Like Reno said, it's just mostly about MMA now in America. That's the thing. It's outpaced it's outpaced boxing. Boxing used to be the thing. I mean, we don't even get as many boxing matches anymore year per year. Um,
Yeah,
we get
yeah,
more
it's
MMA fights
definitely
than we do
MMA.
boxing. Yeah,
And so the movie, it portrays that you have the kid, the main character, Lee. He already does kung fu, and but then he comes to America, and there's this battle, and he's got to learn karate for whatever reason. So Danielson, Ralph Macchio, has to come in and sort of help Mr. Han train him, and teaches him some karate shit to go with his kung fu. And it's just a big mix. It's a mix of the franchises, the original '80s franchise, the Will Smith attempt at a franchise, and the Cobra Kai franchise, and it mixes all that like a mixed martial art, and just makes this very current, poignant movie that I think is gonna resonate with Gen Z. But if you're a fan of like the old movies, like it starts out right away. Again, spoiler alert. First scene is you're looking at a scene right out of the '80s Karate Kid. Right, they do a clip. They show Ralph Macchio. He's talking. Right, there's a whole scene there. So I mean, and the nostalgia's there. And when they bring you know Mr. Han back, if you love that movie, if you're like a millennial or a Gen Z, like if you're like my son's age, you're 20 or something like that, then you're gonna really resonate with the whole Mr. Han. And so you got that. And it just works. It just works. And having Ralph Macchio come in for the Gen Xers, you know, we appreciate that. And
yeah, that put it
he
together
does,
for us.
and he does a lot better than he did in. Not that he was bad in Cobra Kai, but it's a different Daniel-san in this than the Cobra Kai Daniel-san. The Cobra Kai Daniel-san was it wasn't as good of a character. It wasn't portrayed as well. Definitely wasn't written as well, and wasn't acted as well. Wasn't directed as well. Can't blame Ralph Macchio, but it was a TV show, web show, really. So, but it hits. It hits like a real cinematic movie. Um, and like I said, the reviews. Well, the reviews aren't really out yet. For first of all, you're not going to really get really reviews yet because the movie doesn't come out, guys, until next Friday. So I'm giving you the early scoop, right? So you can go see it in the theaters next Friday. So there's people that have said shit on like on Reddit, for example. I'll show you something right here. I'll give you a good one. I hate when it does that. won't let me pick which screen I want to share with the folks at home.
Really?
Yeah, it's like it says, no, you can choose these, but you can't choose that. All right, here we go. So, Reddit post. Karate Kid Legends review, a formulaic, underwhelming, and soulless return for the franchise. That's how I imagine that he sounds. That's how I imagine. He says, this isn't the only review that said this film is soulless and rushed. I was downvoted on here for saying that this film is a pointless cash grab. I was right. He was downvoted. Nobody fucking agreed. They fucking shoot him off. And so this guy comes in and then he says, I watched Karate Kid Legends, and here's my opinion. First of all, anyone calling this film soulless or cash grab, go climb a tree. You're spitting nonsense. And this guy got all the great ratings and all this good shit. People, in other words, agreed with this guy more than that guy. The movie starts with a beautiful flashback introduction that kind of retcons, expands on a line from Mr. Miyagi in Karate Kid 2. Where instead of just saying how Shimpo Miyagi ended up in China, they explain that the Han family took him in and taught him Kung Fu. Later on, Daniel is introduced. Han shows a photo. It says that he met Miyagi in 1985. So it probably shortly before Karate Kid 2. So that's the connection between the two families. So, okay. One thing that stood out to me is that there are more references to Cobra Kai than to Karate Kid in this film. In this film, the only real nods to that movie are jacket on, jacket off, and everything is Kung Fu. Because besides that, it almost feels like this is an alternate version of Han, since he now has a niece, Lee's mom, and Lee has his as his grandnephew. So there's even a moment where Lee does Dre's snake kick pose. So I don't know. He said he kind of contradicts himself here, and I kind of don't. I get so, like I said, and like he did say right here. So the movie starts off with the Karate Kid, the original Karate Kid. There's a lot of references to Cobra Kai, but then there's a lot of references to the Xiao Dre, right? Jacket on, jacket off. Everything is Kung Fu. You have the snake pose. So it definitely touches all three. But let's read on. Lee is amazing, charismatic, exceptional in the fight scenes. All the characters are great. Victor, Mia, and Alan, the best friend and comic relief. And they're all super charismatic and bring a lot of heart to this first part of the story. Connor is a good antagonist, but we need more scenes between the two of them. There wasn't enough to make us really hate him, even though there's a super convincing fight and he becomes a solid threat. He was even the first to attack the ref. Daniel and Han are incredible in the film, but sadly, this is also where the movie falls a bit short. We get very little of them interacting, and that's true. I will definitely agree there. There's two scenes, I'll say, really two big scenes where they interact and sort of quibble over which is better, karate or kung fu. You know, that and it's pretty short. Stu, I know you saw that part. We kind of just watched it together a little bit ago. And then it's sort of, and then there's, you know, and then of course towards the end when they train, you know, get right into the tournament and whatnot. So
the choreography, the fights, that was raw.
yeah,
He was getting it. The fight scene,
Yeah.
the choreography was great, bro.
yeah, it's Jackie Chan, bro. He's the best. He's the best. But he said, what do you say? He said, the chemistry between the three is great. Leah's connection with Daniel, and in the film just had 30 more minutes. A lot of things could have been better developed. Many scenes could have breathed more, like all the tournament matches, eighths, quarters, semis, that go by way too fast. So yeah, the tournament matches and stuff are very short at the end of the movie. It's less, you know, about that. So that could have used a bit of, you know, some more, if you wanted them to drag out the tournament and have it all like the original movie and stuff like that. And even the second movie where there was like semifinals and finals and you got to see them fight different guys and all that shit. It really wasn't like that. It was pretty much him fighting the main guy, and they wanted to like kind of like get that over with. But it was very well fought. Great, great. But then he says here, the final fight, though, is an absolute spectacle. Even with some more stylized editing and directing choices, it really shines. For me, it was more engaging than most of Cobra Kai and even better than the other Karate Kid movies. And guys, that's not saying a lot. Okay. American choreography, especially in the 80s, especially with the Karate Kid, this was not like a martial arts masterpiece by any means. No, it wasn't up there with like Van Damme movies and, Steven Seagal movies and, all these different, martial arts, 80s action stars. Karate Kid wasn't one of those. It was never meant to be. It was not a movie about that. So it didn't really have that. Now this one does. So it says the choreography is light years ahead of anything in Cobra Kai. Bigger budget makes a massive difference. I mean, that's a great excuse. I mean, Cobra Kai is a show and this is a movie. They had a bigger budget. It's just better choreography, better fighters, My man said, I love the movie because I didn't go in expecting an amazing plot or crazy twists, and definitely not a film focused on Daniel or Han. I knew this was about Lee, Victor, and Mia, and because of that, it was an incredible experience for me. The movie isn't bad, but it's short. It would have been better, awesome if it was longer and had more. One last thing, say Miyagi Pizza. Go watch it. Cobra Kai movie. Depends on the body. So, again, like you said, don't go in expecting an amazing plot or crazy twists. Don't go in expecting a rehashing of any previous Karate Kid property, because it's not a carbon copy of any of them. It takes parts from all of them, but then it also is its own thing, just like MMA. Let's see, what's this? There's a couple posters kind of showing the similarity in the two. Miyagi-Do. Slice hard, no anchovies. Oh no, olives on, olives off. Pepperoni is your best defense. Oh man, that must be something from Cobra Kai. Yeah, Cobra Kai had its corny shit really, really a lot. Man, you know what? I missed the opportunity. I didn't even wear my Cobra Kai jacket. What the fuck is wrong with me? Wow. So, but there you go. That's the differences in like what people are saying. And obviously, clearly, the guy that liked the movie had a lot more to say about it. You could tell he really watched it. The guy who just said it was a shameless formulaic cash grab or whatever had nothing like to say about it. So who knows if he even fucking watched it. Here, let's see what IMDb has some shit to talk about it. These Reddit guys have too much time on their hands. But yeah, yeah, man, not to drag on it, drag into, but there's let me give you the main. So the movie, the entire mission is to start fights. It throws its main character into one fight after another without caring how cliched the story, telling or whatever. It's not about that. It's just it's good. He just moves to America, right? He finds himself in a dark alley brawling with some stick-wielding gangsters and fights a bully who happens to be a kung fu master in front of the entire school. And then in an attempt to convince us that it's not telling a cliched story, the film kind of shows our main character, Li Fong, teaching kung fu to the retired boxer father of the girl that he loves so he can get back into the ring and pay off his debts. And so, but we can't help but ask, what good is kung fu in a boxing match, right? After the short training montage, as you might guess, the girl's father enters the match and gets his ass beat. And so Lee then, of course, feels responsible for the girl and her father. And so he's got to fight, right? And so he decides to enter the local kung fu tournament and seeks help from his old master, Mr. Han, played by Jackie Chan. And Mr. Han, in turn, asks for help from Daniel-san, who is now a karate master in this. Because remember, yeah, it's not really the way it is in Cobra Kai. It's a little bit of a canon change, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, they could have done more. They could have found more creative ways to bring Han and Daniel-san together. I mean, this was by no means a masterpiece. The movie wasn't like, anything amazing, but again, it's just a Karate Kid movie. It's not supposed to be. Don't go looking for that. But for what it is, it's a good movie, and it doesn't bore you to death with the fucking martial arts being trash. It does have really cool fight scenes. So, and the fact that the tournaments are kind of short is made up for by more fights during the movie. So it does work out. Yeah. So there you go. Now, the question is, can the Cobra Kai fans make this movie a hit when it comes to the theater? Also, the fact that this movie got leaked and we've kind of all seen it, is that going to hurt the box office? The answer is yes. It's definitely going to hurt the box office.
Definitely. Yeah.
But yeah, this summer we've got a ton of great fucking movies coming out. You've got Disney's live action well, the live action Lilo and Stitch is doing extremely well. Brad Pitt's F1. There's something for everybody this year. You know what I mean? Sony's got this sort of fresh take on this franchise from Karate Kid, the Karate Kid Legends. And, the pitch here is that every era of Karate Kid will come together in one movie. And it's kind of like, Gen X can go to movies with their Gen Z kids and watch the movie together and all get something out of it. And it really does. It works. It works. But, the question is, can this movie thrive in the aftermath of Cobra Kai on Netflix, or have audiences had their fill at home? If all the Cobra Kai fans are going to go, the big ones, of course, but are the casual ones gonna do it? For me, I'm not gonna go. Stu's gonna go. So out of the two of us, you're getting a ticket. There you go.
Definitely.
Yeah. The movie's currently
because I want to see it on the big screen. I gotta see it on the big screen.
Yeah. Well, it's currently eyeing a domestic debut in the $31 to $40 million range, and when it opens, next weekend, that's what they're saying. The box office theory, but and that would not be a bad start for this. It's a PG-13, audience-friendly, big screen continuation of the '80s classic franchise, and the biggest problem is that this summer is overflowing with stiff competition. Besides Lilo and Stitch, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, and I mean, Superman's coming July. There's a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah, there is. Something comes. Oh, Lilo and Stitch.
That's what I just said. I just said that like 3 times.
No, because there's something else that comes out with Lilo, but I keep saying Lilo and Stitch. There's another big movie that came out.
Yeah, Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible. That's it. And I definitely want to see that because I saw the first one. It was good.
Yeah,
it was good. But I was hurt by the way it ended because it ends like a straight cliffhanger, and we waited damn near 2 years to see this movie almost.
Yeah, you gotta wait for the next one now. Yeah. But Legends is opening directly against A24's horror movie Bring Her Back. And then the following weekend, there's the John Wick spinoff Ballerina, which arrives alongside IFC's Dangerous Animals and Neon's The Life of Chuck. After that, it's on to the live action How to Train Your Dragon, which figures to be aiming for the family crowd and is probably going to be $1 billion movie. But 2010's Karate Kid opened to $55 million on its way to $359 million worldwide against a very reasonable $40 million production budget. So, and that's back then. And the hope is that Sony kept the budget in that same range for this entry because that's about what they're probably, projected to make right now. As far as what they spent, not really sure. But at the end of the day, Sony's kept the budget, as long as they've kept it under like 70 million or so, it's relatively safe in the long run. Because, it's not just about the opening weekend, they can make it up over the next, couple of weeks. But yeah, it's the question is, was the hype of Cobra Kai enough? So we'll find out. We'll find out next week when it opens. So check it out, Stu. Since 1962, Thor has been an integral part of the Marvel universe,
Mm.
from being a founding member of the Avengers to ushering in the MCU. However, all things must pass, and Marvel just announced that as of August 2025, its universe will no longer have a god of thunder or indeed any Asgardian god. No more Asgardian gods, no more Asgard. And the
Oh,
change comes
Loki.
as Marvel announces that it's mysteriously rebooting the Thor franchise, removing all the Asgardian mythology from its reality, aka Earth 616. After the change, the Asgardian gods will be considered fictional, and Thor will be reinvented as just like a man with a hammer. The change comes in Al Ewing and Pascal Ferry's Thor #1. Marvel's been teasing the death of Thor in the pages of Immortal Thor, and now comic readers, comic fans know that it's going to lead into a whole new status quo where the entirety of Thor lore has somehow been removed from Marvel's main reality. But what exactly is that going to look like is the question. And the death of Thor, meaning Norse mythology, is leaving the Marvel universe. Why are they getting rid of Norse mythology? Could it have to do with the connotations to the Aryan Brotherhood? Could it have to do with racial stuff like that, and the new stance that media companies are taking against such travesties? Who knows? But what we do know, launching in 2023, the Immortal Thor was a spiritual follow-up to the Ewing and Joe Bennett's Immortal Hulk, right? Immortal Hulk was phenomenal. One of my favorite runs, made me a Al Ewing super fan, and described by Ewing as the New Testament to Hulk's dark and wrath-filled Old Testament, right? Meaning they rebooted it and just made, and so the metatextual series has seen Thor unlock omnipotence as the All-Father of Asgard, exploring how the nature or narrative of this shapes his life and the purpose in the Marvel universe, right? So now Thor's adventures will apparently erase Asgardian myth from Marvel's main reality, leaving it so that the gods are once again considered fiction. And how this will affect Marvel's other heroes and franchises is yet to be seen. But there's three main ways that it could happen, right? First is possibly that Thor's new status quo will be its own pocket reality, similar to the Ultimate Universe. And if this is the case, Thor will be, shunted into a world where he never became one of Earth's, mightiest influential heroes. Yeah, likely hunting for a way to return to 616 Earth. And so Marvel's other titles would therefore suffer from minimal interference, as Thor can simply be considered missing, right? So, but evidence supporting this is that Thor recently quit the Avengers after he was framed for murder, asking Storm to take his place as the Thunder God. And meanwhile, the evil billionaire Dario Agger created his own villain as Thor. And so if Thor disappears, the Avengers might not even notice, especially if Agger's copy takes place. It takes his place. And the second possibility is that this is some kind of alternate afterlife that Thor will be trapped in after his death, because we know the death of Thor is happening. And so this is supported by Al Ewing's tease for the new Thor series. And what Al said was, quote, "Since the very first issue of Immortal Thor, Thor's been facing the end of his tale. But that was only the end of Act 1. The next chapter begins. Thor must face threats he's never faced from a place he's never been until now. Is he alive? Is he dead? Is he immortal? Or much, much more? You'll have to find out. You'll have to join us to find out." And, the last possibility is that Marvel's mainstream reality will be rewritten so that it gels more with the MCU.
Which I think is that's what happened. That's what's happening. 'Cause remember we
Right.
did a We talked about before how they said they're gonna start making everything one with Marvel
Mhm.
and 616 in the MCU, so that it's
Exactly.
easier for people to follow. The casual fan.
Right. Right. And yeah, and I think that would likely have more spill power into other titles. For example, like if the Avengers didn't form against to fight against Loki, what did happen? And this is still the most likely option, I think, given the recent events in Mortal Thor and what we're seeing going on in with Marvel and the MCU and what we know about them and what how they're doing with comics versus MCU and how the heads of Marvel have made no qualms about admitting that they have told the writers of the Marvel comics to write the comics in such a way that they could use that for MCU fodder so that it could translate to the MCU and be useful in that way. They don't want them writing any, comic lines about the main big characters that can't be used for the MCU. Like, in other words, shit can't be going against MCU canon. And Feige has literally, a writer literally reported that Feige literally like told him to kill a character so that it could Kamala Khan. Kill Kamala Khan so that we can have her reborn as a mutant, so that because we want her to be a mutant in the MCU, and they did that in the comics for that reason because Feige told the writer to do it. The connotations are, oh.
What are comics coming to today?
But in the recent issues, yeah, Thor's villains, the Enchantress and the Minotaur, have been sort of messing with his past, and the Enchantress has been doing, using Marvel Comics, messing with the events in Thor's mythic adventures via their modern day telling. And yes, Marvel Comics exist in the Marvel universe, right? So that they're like in there using the comics to like, oh, this is what he did in the past, and so and they've seen, they're seen as like semi-fictional accounts of real world events. So like in Marvel comics, someone might pick up, an old X-Men comic and it's basically a telling of an actual historical event with the X-Men. Right? So like say it's a Thor comic and some kids like sitting there reading Days of Future Past. Well, in that comic, what they're saying is that this kid is reading a historical event that actually happened in comic form, because in Marvel Universe, that's what comics are. They're basically like retellings of events. It's very interesting. Yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, the Enchantress was able to alter Thor's past and sort of make it make sense that this new status quo that we're going to see, or her or someone like her is going to do the same on a much bigger scale. And so, as the leader of the evil corporation Roxxon, the Minotaur, aka Dario Agger, has major resources and to try and remove Thor from reality. So it's not really discussed a lot, but Thor's status as a god makes him part fictional. And so in the comics, and so Thor is half elder god and possesses a more concrete form than other gods because he's known by so many mortals, and it makes him have a physical form, right? That's how they explain it. And so it makes him pretty unique as far as Marvel gods go. And and so if you ever wondered, like, well, how is Thor like this like guy walking around if he's a god? Like, that's why. And so he can still be altered if then his narrative is altered. He's very much exists the way humans on Earth perceive him. So like if all humans on Earth decided that, Loki wasn't real, he would cease to exist. If all humans on Earth decided that Thor was, looked like a grizzly bear, he would fucking look like a grizzly bear. Like that's how it goes. So very interesting. Immortal Thor, though, has been leaning into this idea with Loki's new role as the teller of tales in Thor's new Odin power. Only his Odin power only kind of works when he can find the ideal solution to a problem presented as Thor warping reality if he can tell a better story, right? And Loki the female Loki. And so given these themes, right, it makes sense that the Enchantress will rewrite Thor's story, not Loki, Enchantress. And so leading Thor to reassert his godhood by forging this new narrative in a world that doesn't see him as a hero. And so
or even knows that he exists.
yeah, and so we don't know if this is a permanent thing for the Thor franchise or what, but that's where we are. That's what's going on right now in Marvel with that. So yeah, if you hear something about Thor is no more, that's what it's about.
Mm.
Speaking of Thor, speaking of the Avengers, Disney has pushed the Avengers Doomsday back from like May 2026 to December 2026 and replaced it with Devil Wears Prada 2. Let me say that again.
Nobody asked for Devil Wears Prada 1. Mm.
Hollywood, they'll set a release date for a movie, and then other studios and stuff will be like planning when they're going to put their movie out, and they'll see like what other movies are coming out, and they're like, oh well, this has that slot. And so whoever makes the decisions decided to move Avengers to December and put Devil in the spot where Avengers was in May. So now when May 2026 comes, we're all gonna know that we're gonna have to wait another 7 months because someone wanted to see
Because
Devil Wears Prada first.
usually free
Fucking
comic
hell.
book day weekend we always get a new Marvel movie. They always release something on
Mhm.
that first weekend in May. Always.
Yep.
So I guess we're getting
Nothing
Devil
anymore.
Wears Prada 2 this next year. Get your
Well,
free comic book and
you
go
know
see
what else
Devil
is
Wears Prada.
yeah. And you know what else is ass about this?
But
Avengers Secret Wars is also getting pushed from May 2027 to December 2027. So they're
there's
both
gotta
getting
be
pushed
something up.
up
Yeah, there's
7 months.
something up with that. There's something up with that, man. I don't know what it is. Maybe they'll release something on Disney Plus.
They probably they probably just have more post they figure it's going to take longer to finish the movie. But they're working on it, and we know that because we've got proof, we've got set photos. Um for example, we've got confirmed there are two motion capture characters that we know are going to be in the movie. We don't know who they are, and when I say two motion capture characters, I mean like capture characters. I mean like Rocket Raccoon is a motion capture character, full CGI. But we know it's not him. So there's the preliminary cast we know is over 20 names. The May 1st, 2026, that it was going to be now December 2026. Phase 6 films got the first on-screen crossover between the teams. Right, the first time we're going to have Avengers, Fantastic Four, and X-Men all in one movie. But the motion capture characters appearing in Doomsday, Beast, right, first appearing in the Fox universe, the Kelsey Grammer version of this character. So
Mm.
Marvel this is kind of a teaser, guys. So if you've been waiting and waiting for the mutants to hit the MCU and you're fucking dumbfounded by the fact that they're just, instead of like the whole thing was like, oh man, Fox didn't do the Marvel the mutants right, or could have been better, or I want to see the Marvel do it, or now that Marvel's got the con, like maybe they're gonna do it better. And what do? They turn around and give us the same Fox fucking X-Men again. So people are fucking livid. Some people are happy because they don't get it. They just think, oh yeah, I know that guy. I like that guy. No. But the good news, if that's something you were upset about, with which clearly I wasn't, right? Definitely not me. But if that was an issue you had, don't worry about it, because Feige has confirmed that the X-Men will have their own phase, and there'll be new versions of the characters. These are just multiversal versions of the characters from the Fox universe to show that the multiverse exists and that all those uh movies that we saw really happened. They just happened in other universes and blah blah blah. But it's not really the MCU X-Men. The
Right.
MCU X-Men start next phase after the Avengers movies are over, after the Doomsday movie, after Secret Wars, and there's a 10-year X-Men plan. So 10 years of movies. The whole, just like we've had this whole 10 years of the Avengers, we're gonna get 10 years of the mutants.
And
And
according to Foggy, also the mutants have always been there. We just haven't been paying attention to them.
no, they've been in another universe.
Oh, they've
They've
been in
always
that
been
universe.
there. Yeah.
Mm,
Just like the Fantastic Four. They've all been there, but they've been in other universes existing. So this movie is, or this phase, the end of this phase is going to explain that, and it's going to show that the Avengers, this whole time, that we thought this was the Marvel reality, was really just the Avengers reality. The Fantastic Four have their own reality, where we're going to see Pedro Pascal's Fantastic Four is going to come from, and the X-Men have their own reality, where they've been the whole time, just like the Fantastic Four have been the whole time. But in this Marvel, or in this Avengers universe that we've been watching so far, the MCU that we know it as we know it, Fantastic Four have not been in there hiding. The Baxter Building wasn't a tiny thing hidden where no one saw it. Like, no, it wasn't there. It was in another universe. Same thing with the X-Men. The Gray Malk, the X Mansion and the X-Men, and then the School for Mutants and the mutants everywhere and Sentinels and all that shit. It all happened. It just obviously didn't happen in this universe because it didn't happen like in South America or some shit. Like, no one knew. How could it have happened and no one knew? How could it have gone on and no one knew? Right. But the only way to explain it, right, in a way that really is believable anyway, is that all these things took place. They just took place in different universes. And so eventually, well, this is sort of a nexus. So we're coming together and seeing this universe, but we're going to be leaving this universe, going to the mutants reality, their whole universe, for the next phase. But now that we know about the other realities, you can bet that during the mutant phase, they're still going to be having dealings with, the West Coast Avengers, and probably, hopefully not, but hopefully, maybe Sam Wilson's Avenger team that he's building with like Shang-Chi and all those guys. Like, there's a whole team. There's two Avengers now. There's Sam Wilson's East Coast Avengers, and then there's the Thunderbolts, which make up the West Coast Avengers, and that's this universe. So we'll see. We'll see if they, they'll probably be popping up in during the Mutants universe, because they're not going to just throw those characters away, probably. And some of the, like, the new Avengers and some of the younger characters, especially like Ms. Marvel, and I mean like Kamala Khan, she'll be America Chavez, Ironheart, right? You can bet, if Ironheart's successful anyway. If Ironheart does well, she'll be one that follow. Even if it doesn't do well, they'll probably still keep her, because that's what they do. They don't give a shit if shit does well. They just want their story to be how they want to tell it, and that's it. They don't care if we like it or not. So we can just sit back and hope it's something we like. The guy Kelsey, yeah, and Kelsey Grammer, the guy that plays Beast, he saw so we saw Beast, rather, in the post-credit scene for the Marvels, where Beast oversees Monica Rambeau's rehabilitation after she arrives in this alternate universe. Right? So that's the explanation, and how we know now that the mutants have been existing. They've just been existing in another universe, because at the end of the Marvels, Monica Rambeau goes to that universe. We don't know. We hope not. But yeah, I mean, she wait, what the fuck? Get the hell out of here. We're busy. She what's his name? Kelsey Grammer. He said they did this movie called The Marvels, and somewhere during that shooting, somebody called me and said, "Would you come down and think about doing just a little motion capture with you?" And I did a little scene, and then they put that blue on me, and I didn't have to dress up or anything anymore, and that was fantastic. And Kelsey Grammer will rejoin his fellow X-Men actors like Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart and James Marsden and the whole Fox team. And the other mocap character is the Thing. Is Eben Moss Bacharach's The Thing. Um, gonna be a very different take on The Thing. Not gonna be anything like anything we've known before. Johnny Storm, the same thing. He's gonna be not like a womanizing, egotistical. Well, he's still gonna be like an egotistical dickhead, but he's not gonna be like problematic. And so Pedro Pascal's Mr. Fantastic. Of course, Vanessa Kirby's Invisible Woman will be all there. But Ben Grimm is obviously not human, so he's going to be mocap, and that'll be, unrecognizable. You won't be able to see who the actor is at all. Type shit. Avengers Doomsday actors will use prosthetic makeup. You've got Mystique, who Rebecca Romijn Stamos, or actually Rebecca Romijn now, is coming back for Mystique. So it won't be that new version of Mystique, the Jennifer Lawrence version. It will be Romijn. Or at least that's what's been confirmed. We don't, Jennifer Lawrence may or may not pop in. Nightcrawler, Mystique's son, is also wearing the prosthetics, but the Rebecca said it was a 9-hour makeup process. They sat there for 9 hours every morning and put that shit on, and they did manage. They said they managed over the 3 movies to get it down to 7 hours. That's a lot. It's a long fucking time. That's a whole full-time shift. It's a whole day job. Nightcrawler. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I guess that was interesting. I don't know. Set photos of the completed Sentinel battlefield. I am so excited to see the Sentinels, the Sentinels. Sentinels. Yeah, so let's see the Sentinel battlefield. So this is a set photo of the actual movie behind the scenes where they're filming the movie. And obviously it's going to look mad different in the movie, but this is a sneak peek. Let me see. Can I blow that up for y'all? Bang. So all these blue bits are all pieces of Sentinel. This is like a head piece. There's like a hand, an arm piece right. There's probably like a leg right there. There's like a foot right over here. See, but they're all wrapped in like a blue tarp. So here's a blue piece tarp here. Here's a big tarp piece here. This could be like 2 feet, like a pair of legs, maybe. I don't know. And that could be like an arm. Who knows? This could be like a head or a chest piece, right? This is this little green deal here. This is like this looks like it's all a semi truck. That's how big everything gives you an idea of the scale. This little 1-inch piece here is a semi truck. But you've got like clearly these pits here. These are like craters. These are all bomb craters. And this stairway right here, guys, could potentially be the X Mansion. This building, this apparatus, this thing over here, who knows? Looks like something cool. Could be a castle, a spaceship, or some shit. I don't fucking know.
I don't know.
Hard to tell.
Sick.
Yeah.
Now,
I don't know.
that
I like
aerial. Now, is that like a drone photo, like an aerial photo, or?
Yeah, this is a drone photo. So this is a blue screen. All this shit here, this
I
a
see the
blue
blue
screen there,
screens. Yeah,
blue screen there, and then you can see that you see these this red thing here. That's a semi truck trailer. These are all. That's a semi truck trailer. That's not a semi truck trailer, but you know, a shipping container.
shipping containers. Yeah.
Yeah, big ass shipping containers. These are all shipping containers. Red one, green one, red one, green one, red one, green one, red one. That's how big this thing is, and this is the front. By the time you get across here, it's so far away that the container shrinks from like half the size. This thing, this whole green thing, this is a semi truck, which is a trailer piece on the back. So, anyways, it's kind of hard to get the idea of the size of the thing, but it's a massive set, very large set. So they'll be running around, shooting, filming stuff with the green screen. It's going to be very good for the actors and look really cool on film and just come across really cool. And I wish I was there.
Obviously, they're gonna be doing some major shooting on that set because it's big.
Hmm. Oh, yeah. Now,
I'm looking forward to it. It's about time. We need something new. We need something fresh. And Marvel needs to do something fresh and new. We'll see what they give us. Now that they pushed everything back a couple months. If it'll give me a better product, I'm with it. I'm with it. You can bring everything out in December. It'll give me a better
yeah.
product.
Yeah. Now,
Mm.
this is the Galactus from the movie, the Funko Pop. And this is exciting to me because it makes me know how good he's going to look and how comic accurate he's going to look. You know, he's not going to be walking around like a fucking cloud. We're not going to see some weird version of him. His mask, his helmet, everything looks very much like he's got the skirt, everything going on down there. And this is Ralph Ineson. This is an actual photograph of the actor as Galactus. This is literally what Galactus is going to look like, guys. We literally finally have an actual picture of actually what he totally actually looks like. And I'll give you guys even a bigger zoomed in shot.
He looks dope. Way better than what we
Yeah.
got in that last Fantastic Four movie.
Mm-hmm. There. That's the actor, Ralph Ineson. You can see his face and everything. Like that's really it. That's really, really it. Where the fuck is everybody tonight, man? It was like 15 people in here fucking Wednesday.
Holiday weekend, sir.
Exactly. Exactly. Y'all should be fucking
I don't go nowhere on Memorial Day weekend, but most people do. I wouldn't know where to go on Memorial Day weekend.
5 boroughs. So there's this tournament in the movie called the 5 Boroughs, and the Karate Kid movie I forgot to tell you is really kind of interesting. And the tournament takes place all over New York, all over the 5 boroughs, like in the streets. So like the way I don't know how it works. I guess you go from like outdoor ring to outdoor ring. It was
Best
it
people
was
from each fight the best people from each borough.
yeah,
Keep it moving.
basically, yeah. But yeah, I mean that's him. That's Galactus. I think it's gonna be cool. He's gonna look good anyway, so that's cool. Oh, so we also learned that Iron Fist and Luke Cage, the actors, are now in New York, both of them, and so not going to be a coincidence. So it's not hard to jump to the same conclusion that the Defenders are reuniting in Daredevil Born Again season 2. So expect to see Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones in season 2.
Hmm.
Yep.
Hopefully
It's
they
it's
they
more
suit
it's
up.
more than
Hopefully they suit up.
yeah.
But
Hopefully
it'll
they
probably
suit up.
just be an intro. Hopefully it'll just be an introduction because I did hear that
Nah,
Disney wants to bring all of them back. They want to
look
do
what they
seasons for
nah,
all
look
of
what they're
them for
doing.
all of them,
Look what they're doing with the
except for
costumes.
Iron Fist. They said Iron Fist is getting a reboot, like a soft reboot.
Yeah, and he's gonna wear his costume this time.
He's gonna wear his costume, yeah, because the director from the last one refused. And when I say I mean refused to put him in the costume. He even came out and said it publicly, insulted everybody and said, if that's what you want, you're in the wrong place because it's never gonna happen. Um, People were
Insulted everybody.
disappointed. He did, bro, because people were asking, like a lot of people was like, "Oh, when are you gonna put him in a costume?" Da da da. It's like it's never gonna happen. You're in the wrong place. It's not what this
Well,
is.
well,
And
this is more than a rumor. It's following on from Kristen Ritter's surprise Jessica Jones return, who already we saw in Daredevil Born Again season 2. A Defenders reunion could be on the cards if you've been sort of following the travel itineraries of the Iron Fist actor Finn Jones and Luke Cage actor Mike Coulter. That is, as spotted by social media sleuths. Mike Coulter, who Luke Cage was posted a shot of the New York skyline in recent days on his Instagram stories. So that coupled with the Jones with Jones also rocking up to the Big Apple, and you got Finn now and Mike Coulter, aka Iron Fist, and Luke Cage commenting "my dude" underneath Jones's Instagram post. So they're commenting on each other's posts. They're posting about New York together. Come on, it's and fans. It led fans to jumping to the same conclusion that they're both now involved in Daredevil Born Again, which is currently filming in, you guessed it, New York. And this isn't just unsubstantiated noise, however. The first season of Born Again already squeezed in a pointed reference to Luke Cage's new digs at Harlem's Paradise, with rumblings of Ritter's return emerged after she posted her own social media post with Daredevil actor Charlie Cox. Right now, all we know is Daredevil Born Again Season 2 is currently filming, with showrunner Dario Scarpane and directors Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead all returning after they were initially drafted as part of this first season's unprecedented creative overhaul. Speaking of that, it's a very they're trying to be cooler about comic accuracy and having stuff that more reminds you of original costumes and shit like that. We saw Bullseye, they did a total overhaul with Bullseye, made him look a little more closer to his comic counterpart, and just really cool. So I do expect to see like Iron Fist in his costume and shit like that. Now, speaking of the Punisher, uh, Frank Castle, the Punisher, whatever you want to call him, he's back big time with the comics. He's back in a new comic called The Punisher Red Band #1. Red Band is a series by Marvel Comics where they literally wrap the comic in a poly bag, and it has a big red band around it that says like adult, warning, violence and shit like that. And so they're like sealed so that like kids or younger readers can't read, or see it like on the newsstand or something like that. So it's the red bag version, sort of like what we used to have called the Max version, Punisher Max, and there was all kind of different Max. But this is red band, so it's like band literally. There's a red band around it literally. I got some red band stuff. I got a red band Batman, like Full Moon. I got some red band. I have a bunch of red band blood. Here's a red band right here. Shit. There's a couple of them. There's a few of them.
quite a few.
Yeah, there's 4 of them. Okay, there's yeah. There's a warning: this comic book is only approved for appropriate audiences by Marvel Comics. Explicit content, reader discretion advised. And there's the new Punisher comic is literally titled Punisher Red Band #1. Like, check it out. Shut the fuck up. You can't see it yet.
No, I can't see that.
Okay,
We got Nelson. We got Nelson.
there you go. So that's the cover right there,
Look at that. Why can't the
and
movies look like that?
no,
I
no.
like something out of a John Wick movie, but we'll never get that.
Speaking of John Wick, there's a sick ass new documentary out called "Wick is Pain." So if you're a John Wick fan, go check out the documentary "Wick is Pain." It's a must see if you're a fan of John Wick. It's like all behind the scenes, and it shows. It's like all with Keanu Reeves and the director and everything they went through to get the movie made and how it got made and how they went about it and who they are and why. They're like this martial arts stunt team that decided to make a movie, but they didn't want it to just be another action movie. It's fucking great. It's a great documentary. Wick is pain because all the stunt guys and especially like Keanu Reeves would like literally get bruised and battered and beaten like every day the whole time. It was very painful. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, the Punisher Red Band #1, there it is. Benjamin Percy, the guy that was recently been writing the Wolverine comic. He is doing #1. Punisher skull logo has been a bit of a problem for Marvel for years now, being used by police, army, militia,
Yeah.
white supremacist groups, QAnon events, and Hannity on Fox News, without a scintilla of suggestion that there may be some irony in that. The character co-creator Jerry Conway has
Marvel,
spoken
I
out
don't
about his use
understand why they
of
don't trademark it and just sue them. Just trademark it and sue them. They'll stop using it.
Yeah, I mean, it says that Jerry Conway, the creator of the character Punisher, has spoken out about its use by such groups and has tried to reclaim it. He started his own line of shirts designed by people of color to take the symbol back, with proceeds going to Black Lives Matter related charities. Marvel Comics has been fighting them in the courts when they've tried to trademark it. Actors have criticized its use. Police commissioners have also criticized their use, and comics creators have been divided over its use. Marvel has addressed this in the comics with the Punisher threatening police who use his symbol. Then the Punisher skull was spotted several times on backpacks and taken into the Capitol building on January 6th. So Marvel pulled back the Punisher further, changed his logo, and changed the Punisher twice. Marvel ran Punisher series where he was leading the hand with a very different Beast Skull logo. Frank Castle was left defending the innocent of monsters at the mythical magic weird world. Then a different Punisher took his place with a different skull logo. He didn't last long, and we got even a Vietnam Punisher / Nick Fury story from Garth Ennis, which I'm reading now, which is fucking amazing. But what about the present day? Well, in a title reminiscent of what Garth Ennis considered the character at the time is Welcome Back, Frank. So this is the new comic, and there you can see the skull is the OG logo there. And so if you guys follow comics at all, you know that recently what they were just talking about there is that the skull, they changed the design to have like horns, and it was just more like a demon, like a beast. They called it the beast skull or whatever. And that was the new skull because they were trying to distance themselves from these white supremacist assholes who were using the design. But yeah.
Yeah, you can't win them all.
You can't win them all.
Can't win them all.
Um,
Marvel just gotta go ahead. I would just go ahead with it. I wouldn't even care at this point. People use the Batman's logo, Captain America. It doesn't matter. They're just gonna
well,
use it. The
speaking
only
of Batman's
only thing you can
logo,
do is go ahead.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the logos are the logos. They're iconic pieces. But
Yeah, just
speaking
go
of
ahead with it.
logos, uh, there's Gunn's logo. He says James Gunn's reboot unveils 3 new logos for Justice League heroes. There's the in the background. This is not them, but here's Wonder Woman. There's Martian Manhunter. There's Hawkeye. There's Flash. There's Aquaman. There's Batman. Promotional driver James Gunn's DC reboot revealed 3 never before seen logos for its new Justice League heroes. And there's your Green Lantern. Let's see. There's your Hawk Girl logo and Mr. Terrific's
Mr.
logo.
Terrific.
Some more lanterns. Okay, so they're showing you the difference.
Talk, man.
This is Green Lantern. This is Green Lantern from the comics. This is Green Lantern from the movie, the DC Superman, DCU Superman movie. That's Hawkman from the comics. This is Hawk Girl in the DC Superman movie. Here's Mr. Terrific in the comics on the left. Here's Mr. Terrific in the movie on the right.
Mm.
Yeah, and they will. And the interesting thing, they will not be called the Justice League. They will be called the Justice Gang. It says the Hawk Girl, Guy Gardner, and Miss Terrific trio will be known as the Justice Gang. They are a corporate-backed team of superheroes, as opposed to the typical autonomous band of superpowered beings fans know and love. And yeah, they're a new. I mean, clearly it's Guy Gardner. It's not Hal Jordan. It's Mr. Terrific, not Martian Manhunter. It's Hawk Girl, not Hawk Guy. So yeah, it's a different Justice League. It's not the Justice League. They do have the name like Justice League though at some point. This will not likely last long with the proper introduction of Superman to the mix. Only a matter of time before the Justice League proper comes into the picture. Yeah,
It's just mad.
matter of time.
And with that, I gotta break out, man. It's almost that time for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go do what the Justice League does.
All right. Well, let's see. All right. Before we go, Henry Cavill's Voltron live action movie gets a major filming and release update. So we got.
I'm talking about.
I'll show you
I'm a
that
big
real
fan
quick.
of Voltron. Big fan of Voltron.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
The Netflix series that they put out was phenomenal. Bro, it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, check it out.
Voltron movie wrapped. Our live action Voltron film is officially wrapped production, and we're thrilled with how it all went. I've been with this franchise for years and can proudly say that this will be the Voltron experience our fans have been dreaming of. I'm skeptical. There's been more chatter here about the plans for the film's launch, and we'd like to assure you when official plans are set for the film, you'll be the first to hear them. To hear it right here. Stay with us. Promise it'll be worth it. Bob and the Voltron team. What this means for Voltron. Live action, Ross and Thurber, Bob, Booba, DB, Doobie, Voltron's got an official release date. Now we can guess based on typical printed timelines. Voltron movie will probably be released sometime in mid to late 2026, based on the fact that we know it just wrapped in filming. Shipping dates, we know also it's not going to theaters. It's going to go straight to streaming, which sucks, but they made that decision for a reason, so we'll see. And lastly, you remember that Predator joint?
Which one? Killers or
Killer of Killers?
Yeah.
Killer of Killers.
That looked phenomenal. I'm ready.
Yeah, bro.
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, bro. And that the main dude at the end, where is he at? This cat. He's wearing a whole cape of like skull of like spine and bones and shit. It says, and I think it and it says now this may not be a cape of Xenotales. It may be inspired by Xenotales or something else entirely. For me, very much looks like this Predator is wearing Xenomorph tails as a trophy cape, which is one of the most badass things I've seen a Predator do. Clearly, this Yacha has seen shit. But that's not the back of someone's head. That's a cape, right? And there's their tail. They're tails of Xenomorphs, like.
So
they're Xenomorph
tails. Xenomorph tails.
Right. That's what they're saying. That's pretty badass.
Xenomorph tails are hard. They are. They're like bone almost.
Yeah, and lethal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait for this damn long ass commercial. God damn, what is this fucking whole damn commercial I gotta watch? I can't skip nothing. Shit. There he is. Woo-hoo.
That's hard, man. Now, is that the Predator with the xenomorph tails?
Yeah, look.
That's hard, bro. Look at that. That's hard, bro.
Hell yeah. He fights a ninja. He fights a World War II pilot.
I mean, I get it. Killer of killers. He killer
Yep.
of killers. I get it.
And a Viking.
That
That's
look hard,
hard.
man.
That's hard as
I
fuck.
can't wait. I can't wait to see that. That looks hard. I can't wait to see that.
So does this Mondo
Mumra.
Mumra figure. I wish I could get one of these. This bitch is like $250.
I
Got
was getting ready to
cloth
say,
goods.
I would love to have a mum, but they expensive. I've never seen one that's like, I ain't gonna say reasonably priced, but I
Well,
mean, I
no,
never
all
seen
the
like
Mondos
I
are
never seen.
all the Mondos are $250. You get
Yeah, the
they
Mondos
got
are yeah,
He
they're up
Man,
there.
they got X-Men, they got and then they got Thundercats now.
Yeah, the Mondos are up there. But even like when you go to Big Bad Toy Store, whoever makes the ones themselves, they're pretty pricey too.
What the smaller Thundercats? You
Yeah, the
mean?
smaller ones, yeah, they're smaller, but they're pretty pricey though.
Yeah, the Thundercat because
But nah,
the
man.
Super 7. Super 7 is
Yeah, they're
expensive.
pretty.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. They
they're
did a
ass.
Thunder Tank and all of that. Yeah, it was. I mean, they're
Like
dope.
250, $350 for that stupid ass tank. Tank
Yeah,
ain't have no details or nothing. It was whack.
there's a tank.
Like
Looks
for
like
the
something
price.
from the '80s. Looks like
But
something from
these
the
are
'80s.
yeah, and these Mondos are fucking crazy. Yeah, and they come with a gang of shit. They're extremely well detailed, and they look just exactly like it's like a Hot Toys for cartoons, right? Hot Toys are live action. These are like the cartoon version of that. They're exactly identical versions of what you saw in the cartoon, like perfectly. And like I said, they got like soft goods, mixture, cloth, that kind of thing. Blast effects, all that good shit, and tons of like accessories and heads and different faces and all that cool shit. It's dope. And look at this high school, bro. Well, then they made it go away. But yeah, they got a Dr. Dre like music center at the school now.
They should. It's about time.
Yeah. Right there. See it?
Yeah, it's hard.
There it is. Yeah, it wants to play. I'm not watching the fucking commercial, asshole. But yeah, I guess Stu got to go. We ain't got time to talk about Superman today, but we'll get into it Wednesday, hopefully, maybe, unless something else comes up like it did today. But there is some cool shit. Shout out EGC, welcome, peace. Yeah, we wanted to talk about the this is the All-Star Superman, which the Superman movie is based on, and there's now an audiobook that they just made, like fully acted out with everyone playing different parts of shit, sound effects and all that. There's an audiobook version of this comic, so if you don't have time to read it, pop in the audiobook and listen to it. And so you'll kind of have it. And here's an image of the Ultraman character with no film nonsense on him, so you get to see his actual colorations. He's like purple and lavender with a silver U on his chest. And then there's a new monster here. That's in this Superman toy here. It's like a abominable snowman joint.
Abominable snowman.
Yeah. And then obviously Lex in his power suit, which we saw the other day. But that's it, man. That's our show. And before we go, though, speaking of the way like that they broke it down, man, I just want my man to say it the best way.
Said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup. It becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
And the reason that's so dope and the reason that's poignant is because in the movie Karate Kid, there's all this Jackie Chan choreography. There's a lot of funny moments. A lot of Mandarin is spoken. It's very authentic. There's the Kung Fu versus Karate. But one thing that he says when he's training, when the kid's training the older guy, he says, you know, a stone is hard. You can strike a stone and it, you know, hurts your fist, and you keep striking it. Eventually that stone's going to break and chip, and you're going to be able to eventually break it. He said, but punch water, it moves. It keeps flowing. You can't break it. No matter how many times you smash it, it just moves around your fist. Be like water. Until next time. Have a good holiday weekend, y'all. Maybe we'll see you on Labor Day or Memorial Day, whatever it is. But yeah, have a good weekend, guys. Thanks for coming and chop it up with us. We talked about the Karate Kid today. So have a good one. And we'll see you Monday, maybe. If not, we'll definitely see you one day. Peace.
Peace.
Be water, my friend. Be water, my friend.